Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to part 3 of the Hardspace Shipbreaker miniseries. Alright, reactor first. I'm probably going to second go nacelles.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
I should be probably aiming to do... Oh, you know what? We could also do thruster. Let's do thruster next. It's, I think, more pricey than the nacelles. When I pick ships, I should be picking ships that have like 4 nacelles over 2, or twins over singles, because it's a little bit more money. Alright, thruster cap. Thruster. Out. Alright, nacelles next.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Alright, these are not hooked up to fuel. Cool. Where's the other nacelle? It's somewhere in here. So here's the power cell that I'll need. Oh, great. I can actually pull the power cell right out of the nacelle port. That'll make life a little bit quicker.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Moons of Jupiter? No, they're moons of Mars. Phobos and Deimos. They're about the size of Manhattan. They're tiny. Their escape velocity, here's a weird fact that I don't know why I know. Their escape velocity is about 3 miles an hour, which means if you just lightly jumped, you'd leave the moon. Which, I could imagine if you bungee cord tethered yourself to the moon, it would be a lot of fun, because you could just, like, jump miles and miles and miles in a single bound. You'd be like Superman. Howdy, Alex. Alright, let's get this other nacelle. And then, one more nacelle, and then I think we're done. Oh, we'll do nanocarbon roof and floor, because they're a little bit faster. The walls are not... actually, we'll do the full walls this time. Why not? Where's the stupid nacelle? Here it is. I'm not going to go whole buffalo. Drink, if you're drinking. I'm not going to go whole buffalo this time, but I'll do floors and walls. Alright, so let's cut for walls. Trying to avoid blowing up the coolant. It won't feel good.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Now, not all these walls are going to be easy because of the airlock. Where the airlock connects, it creates like a much larger cut point that I'm not great at separating. It's like watching a child with children's scissors. I do need O2. But I think there's only fuel in this, right?
Caution, tether supplies are low.
So I'm trying to use up my tethers while I'm gonna have to re-oxygenate.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits
Oh no!
transferred.
That's not what I meant to do! Alright, no tethers available. Let's go re-up. Yeah, I just ripped the antenna off and threw it in the processor where it's supposed to be in the barge. Oxygen, tethers.
Thank you for your purchase.
Oh, I haven't separated the cabin out from the rest of the ship, so it's dragging the whole thing over. Well, let's not have that hit us on the head. All right, so let's separate the cabin out, because right now I'm like super rotating the ship, which is
Object accepted for processing.
a little weird.
Credits deposited.
I missed that last one. All right, that's separated out. Oops. Alright, let's cut the floors off. Stupid seats are in the way. The seats, as you can imagine, on a spaceship aren't worth much unless you have a cert to salvage seats. Which eventually you get one.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Oh, I'm losing my point of reference. I'm so upside down. Alright, don't think I've separated out the additional walls yet. I have more cutting to do. Do I? I don't.
Object not accepted.
Oh, because this is the airlock one. That's harder to separate out. I can never get the airlock wall to, like, rip off. Alright, so let's not worry about that. Let's do the other side, then. It's gonna be a lot easier. And let's get the stern of the ship ripped away too. Alright, so all these side panels are good to go.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
Shush. We've plenty.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright. That goes there. And as you can see, the only part left is like the airlock bit that I didn't get done. Let's use the last tether and round this
Warning.
off.
No tethers remaining.
Maybe pull the fuel off. Oop. Nope, that just made it worse.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Come on, fuel. You don't belong in there. Oh, well, that was a bad aim. I have one more mechanical to salvage for 90 tech points, so let's do that. That should be really easy. There should be ace. Yep, perfect. And I broke it, didn't I? Did I? Yep, totally broke that. Is there any more mechanical? Yeah, there should be the other airlock. Here, let's not break this one. Perfect. That's a full clear. This should be probably, I'm guessing, you guys can guess in chat, but I'm going to guess like 2.3 mil.
Knock out that work order before they turn the lights out on you. We rest.
Let's see, 2.3 mil. That's what I'm going to guess. Ooh, 2.364. Yep. All right, so one more ship like that, and I should be ranked up. I saw you guys guess. I was right. Alright, so I have 400 tech points. What can I buy? So all these numbers indicate what accreditation, what certification level I need, which is basically more than I currently have. So start, shift. Let's go with this hard ship. Hope that Yeah, JD was actually closer, yes. Unless we're talking Price is Right rules, and then if you overguess, you don't get it. Alright, airlock is where? Over here? It's always Price is Right rules? Yeah, maybe. That's up to you guys.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Let's see if I can't do all the work orders. Not because it's worth a lot of money, but because it's a little bit more challenging, because that means I have to do coolant and fuel and storage and all that extra jazz, which is more complex. So that is what I will work on this time. So there is some coolant right here in the middle of the ship. There is also the thruster venting, which, so yeah, this is definitely a more complex ship. So we'll try to do this like completionist style. So with care and precision, which is not what I'm known for. Not working, not playing to my strengths here. Where the hell am I? All right, we need to separate out this fuel line with care and precision, meaning with the precision tool. Alright, bye-bye reactor. Don't shock me on your way out. Alright, let's get the thruster cap. Was this, do you guys recall, was this a one-day job or a multi-day job? This is a lot of work in the work order for a one-day job, but I am down to try. Thruster.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
The twin nacelles, which I don't have. Yeah, they're plugged into the fuel lines on this ship. So I'll just make little portholes, flush the fuel lines. Oh, are they not doubles? Because I have to salvage fuel too. That's part of the work order. Oh yeah, they're twins. These are twins, right? Yeah, these are twins. Come on, fat engine. Get out of my way. Alright, so there goes one twin. Flush.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
And cut. God, these things weigh a ton. I mean, I think quite literally more than a ton, but come on, let me out. Okay, so there's the nacelles. I still need to harvest the fuel, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. Let's get the power cell next. Or storage. Let's work on storage, and because it's going to kind of be in the way. Right, so now I have a nice
Credits deposited.
line of sight to my barge. Oh god, these stupid electrical boxes are always pissy. They like to explode, super explode on your face.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, so grabbing some electrical and some mechanical. Let's grab these coolant.
Salvage
Got to be a little
secured.
delicate with
Account
this,
credit applied.
not to bump it too much. So I have to grab 5 units of storage. So some of these soft crates.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Now, if you run out of soft crates, as I have, these things are also storage in the cockpit. Done. Storage is done. Mechanical needs 3 more.
Account credit applied.
Oh, there is data here. So if I'm careful, I can get my mechanical done. There should be airlock console here. Alright, mechanical's done. What's my O2's a little low. I see a fuel bottle here, but I don't see an O2 bottle, so let me go top up my O2 right after I cut the roof off these bad boys and use my tethers up. Oh, it's also asking for furniture. That's really easy. Just a cockpit seat will do. So furniture's done.
Credits awarded.
Alright. Oxygen's getting a little critical.
Caution. Tether supplies are low.
Let's get my tether supply up and my oxygen supply up.
Warning. Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable levels.
Welcome to Vintage-Ron 9000. Thank you for your purchase. Have a nice day.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Okay, let's go for the power cell before I do anything else. Or actually, we can get a little bit progress on electrical too. There goes an antenna.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright, the power cell is right here. Done.
Salvage deposit accepted.
Alright, what's next? Fuel and coolant, probably. So coolant's going to be in the bow of the ship, or the front, or whatever. So let's cut the whole cockpit off and pull the cockpit free from the rest of the ship so I can access the coolant. So what I'm going to do is a pull to my hab. That should pull the front off a little bit, give me some space to work in. Oh boy. I might need some multiple tethers here. Cockpit's a little heavy. It should be free. I don't see any structural reason why it shouldn't be pulling free. But if it's not pulling free, I guess I can head in here and start to carefully cut the sides off. So I don't want to rupture that coolant. It will damage a lot. Alright, there we go. Let's also go for walls while I'm in here. Being careful not to rupture the fuel tank, because I'm going to need to salvage fuel as well at some point. Alright, so now the front left panel here, oh, let's not bump into that, should be free to get pulled off. Or right panel, I don't even know. This thing should be free to get pulled away. Alright, I should probably strip these off. I'm about to hit the 5-minute warning.
Processing valuable objects. Credits.
This is all like easy to salvage nanocarbon. Because it's not very heavy, you don't need tethers or anything. Peel.
We've got about 5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter.
Peel like an onion.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Let's go structural view. I might need to cut off the metal parts up here. I don't think structurally that would stop me from making progress, but it doesn't seem to be separating. I could always just cut through the whole hull of the ship, but I don't want to do that. Why is this still glued on? It's being stubborn. Oh, you know what? It might be these fuel lines. Yup, 'twas the fuel line. So that should be enough coolant, meaning the coolant on the other side doesn't really matter.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Alright, now let's go for fuel. And then, actually one more electrical. Just to hit that, because I only need one little computer console. I don't know if I'm going to get the nanocarbon and the metal. We'll see how much time I have left, because I am 3 minutes.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright, so fuel here. I think this whole panel is separatable. We'll see. Does you pull? Nope. Presumably that won't work either. Let's pull the whole back section off then.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
Oh, come on. Give it a good yoink. Oh, I see why. The floors are still attached. Is that true over here? No, but I think the fuel lines are keeping the stuff together. Alright. What I can do is try to do some surgery. Being real careful, like. Alright, so I have almost all my fuel.
Account credit applied.
Come on, fuel. Behave. Behave for me. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not really going for the nanocarbon and the metal, because I took time trying to delicately be a ship surgeon and cut this ship up into... Uh-oh, don't hit anything. There. Done. So fuel's done.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
So I've gotten most of the easy to cut off panels. It's gonna dock me a little bit for doing this sloppy side. But
Oxygen reserves are low. Reminder, asphyxiation can lead to missed salvage quotas.
can the fuel explode? Oh, absolutely. Set you on fire, kill you. Yep.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Alright, that's probably good enough. I'm not going to go for the nanocarbon and the metals.
All right, Cutter. Wrap it up.
Because I've definitely gotten enough money from this ship for my next accreditation. Probably just shy of 2 mil? Yeah, just shy of 2 mil. So I'm a junior apprentice now. That gives me class 4 ships, which I believe are the Geckos, which is a much bigger ship, much more complex ship. Let's see, is that true? Yes. So I do have access to Geckos, which is very cool. It's totally new, much, much, much larger. My certifications is work order, aluminum, and nanocarbon with a bunch of credits. As far as equipment goes, let's view upgrades. So cooler cut downs, grapple range, top speed thrusters, system scanners, and I'm probably gonna go with push force push, basically. I am a Jedi. Let's recover some of these. Yeah, almost everything in this game can explode on you. Even just pressurized ship can explode if you cut into it wrong. What else can I unlock? I can unlock cooldown. That'll work. Alright, so let's start the shift. Let's do a 2-day of the Bellicose Raven. So this is a next tier ship. It is much more complex, which hopefully will be pretty cool. Alright, so my work order is for Class 2 Reactor, Power Generator, ECU, Electrical, Mechanical, Nanocarbon, and Metal. Now, on these bigger ships, the reactors, the ECU, and the power is a lot pricier. But as you can see, this is huge. Trying to do the whole Buffalo on one of these ships is almost impossible. I'm not going to say impossible, but it would take you multiple days, or you'd have to be sloppy or something. Is it early access? Yes. This is lacking a lot of the features that I'll eventually have. So now, as you can see, not all of this ship is depressurized. But what I want to do is I want to open up all of the doors so that I can access the ship freely. Now, what's cool about this is, what's my next cert? Aluminum nanocarbon, okay.
Air pressure level decreasing.
So this is the reactor here. This is the reactor shutdown console, but I don't want to hit that yet because it could throw my reactor into a meltdown scenario, i.e. not good. Let's continue throughout the ship, opening up pressurized sections. Oh, here's a utility key. Now, if I have audio resynth, you can actually tell by holding on to a console if it's safe on the other side. So the flight deck is unpressurized, which means there won't be... Yeah.
Air pressure level decreasing.
So now we have depressurized the entire ship, so it can't have, like, violent depressurization events. I'm going to grab a little oxygen, because there's plenty of oxygen in this behemoth. So the first thing I want to do is to disable the ECU, which is the engine coolant. So let's pull the front panel off and collect the 3 coolant that's here. And now, when I am ready to pull the reactor out, the ECU won't explode. Alright, and this gives me access to the back of the ship. So here we have 3 thrusters instead of the 1. A reactor that's in a containment core. And then all of these thrusters have fuel lines live through it. So this is the challenge. The next thing I want to do is to, much like eating a lobster, crack it open so that I can have access to jettisoning the reactor. It is not as simple as the small mackerel ships. This is much bigger. So I'm trying to gain access to remove enough of this so that I can pull the reactor out safely. So get a little bogged down here. Oh, I also quick access to space. We can remove these nacelles, and this allows you to go in and out of the ship once it's depressurized pretty quickly. It's also good money. There should be another nacelle up here, I think. No? I'd have to go outside to figure it out. So the lights on these...
There she is, the reactor. That's your meal ticket right there, Cutter. Alright, this one's pretty easy. She should just slide out of her coolant casing with a good yank from your grapple. But before you do that, it's always a good idea to clear a path for her straight to the barge, because once you pull it, she starts melting down. And when it comes to reactors, you never know how many ticks you got till she goes boom.
So he's saying, yeah, clear a path to the barge, which is what I'm about to do. So I just grabbed the nacelles. Now I've got part of the part of the hull of the reactor. Yeah, it's a pretty big spaceship. Part of the hull of the reactor that protects the reactor and free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this center section that I just cut free out of the way. And it should just pull cleanly out, as you can see. And this is going to free up a clear path for this reactor to go straight to the barge. I will have to move some of the sort of like spine of the ship, because it's going to get in the way. The spine on the top won't get in the way. I'm just melting it down for parts, but the spine on the bottom will. So the next part is to just clear a path. I also deactivated the ECU, so the coolant line that goes to the reactor is dead, and I can cut that away, but I cannot cut the fuel lines, because the fuel lines still have fuel in it, and that would explode.
Object accepted for processing.
So there we go. There's some titanium. What is my certification? For aluminum? All right, so that's... I'm not actually making progress on that. So this ECU line is empty, so I can cut this away. But as you can see, the fuel line, this purple line, is still live. So for me to make that safe, I have to fly back inside and turn off the console, which does require a utility key. But let me up my fuel and oxygen before I do that. There should be an oxygen tank. Yeah, there's one. If I don't have to buy it, right? Stuff in here is free. All right, so let's turn off the reactor console. That will put my reactor into a meltdown scenario. So it's going to start melting down. So I'm fighting the clock now. And as far as I know, there's no...
Reactor meltdown detected. Urgent action required.
There's no way to free a reactor without starting a meltdown. It's just like, you're going to have a meltdown. So you just have to make sure to do everything in its proper order. So now, this reactor here should be free to get pulled down. Now, if I tether it center of mass and have a straight line down to the barge, it should pull cleanly. Yep, there it is. Now, it is also in its housing. The reactor is actually inside that housing. So, the purple thing is the... Oh, yeah, so some of the housing is actually splintering off. But, there we go. Reactor has been contained.
Salvage deposit
And
accepted.
part of the housing as well.
Credits transferred.
Part of the housing... Whoa. Where the hell am I? Part of the housing got destroyed and shredded, but most of the housing survived. So there we are. There's a clean reactor pull. Now that I've hit the thruster consoles, these thrusters are free to be salvaged as well. So let's get some of them bad boys. Actually, my reactor is still burning. Yeah. Let me just shove that in. There it goes.
Salvage
The housing, what happened was the housing got broken up, so it wasn't in one contiguous part and was blocking the reactor from being barged. But I fixed it just by shoving parts around. All right, so here's my thrusters. And right now, I'm not going to have enough time before the end of my shift to do everything. So I'm just trying to do the most expensive parts. Thruster classes, power cells, ECU. The ECU pretty much has to be done after your reactor, unless you intend to have your reactor just explode. Did I get all the thrusters?
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits
Yes, I did.
transferred.
All right, so all the thrusters are done. So your ECU is right here, where your blue line is. And the moment I cut this, it's going to kind of explode, which actually makes it easier. As you can see, it frees it. And surprisingly enough, it did not damage it. The ECU is still fine. So let's tether the... Oh, that was a bad tether. Let's tether the ECU to the barge. And because there's a lot of debris in the way, I'm going to have to guide it a little bit. There we go. There goes the ECU. The next big ticket item would be the power generator. So if we go to the objects view, the power generator is going to be a triangle in the front of the ship. As you can see, it's right there. So for me to free this power generator... Alright, so the ECU just got barged. For me to free the power generator, I'm going to have to snake my way to the front of the ship and basically cut the nose cone off. So this is the power generator here, but there is definitely not going to be a free path to deliver it until you cut a significant portion of the front of your ship away. There we go. Now I have... Ooh, that panel is ready to be delivered. That was actually easier than I thought. Make sure that panel doesn't whack me on the head.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining in this shift. Get in while the getting's good. We wrap.
Yeah, there is one. I think the thruster got destroyed on delivery. Alright, so here's the power generator. It is heavy and fussy. As you can see, this one started damaged. Something must have bumped into it, because it has a lot of damage already, but as long as I'm gentle-ish, I should be able to pull it free and into the barge. These Gecko ships earn you a lot more money than the mackerels.
Not accepted. Please revisit your training.
Warning, tethers depleted.
Oh, damn it. Go! 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 No, I see 3 thrusters down there. Alright, so that's the power generator.
Salvage
I've got 4 minutes left. Let me go get oxygen and tethers, and then get as much nanocarbon as I can. Or actually, you know what? My certification requires aluminum and nanocarbon, so if I could get aluminum, that would be pretty good too.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000. Thank you for your purchase.
Oh, okay. So let me cut the bow of the ship up so that I could start salvaging it. There is coolant here. You gotta be careful what you cut, because otherwise you could rupture coolant, and like I just did, and ruin stuff like I just did. Literally warned myself about something I did. Brilliant. Good job, me. Oops. Bad aim, too. Making a mess of that.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credit.
Uh-oh, that's a rupturing coolant tank. It's a live grenade.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright, come on. Just drag. Alright, so that's going to be a lot of nanocarbon. Let's try to pull the right section in before I ran out of time. As you can see, I didn't make a lot of... I didn't get, like, the 29 electrical components or the mechanical components. And I would say there's probably, truth be told, not enough time to do this in one shift. You know, unless you're amazing at the game, which I am not. Man, this is a hatchet job. Because of the, Come on, just separate. I guess I could pull the whole 2 front sections, but I don't really have enough time for that.
Credits deposited.
Caution, tether supplies running low.
Right. This one goes over here. Oh, wow, that... Okay, there, it's getting processed. That's a lot of nanocarbon.
Cutter, we're getting down to the wire. Let's put a bow on this shift.
no way is those two connected now. But I don't think 3 tethers with 30 seconds left is going to be enough to salvage this. But I almost got my nanocarbon target. Got pretty close.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Let's see. Maybe... Oh, there! I hit my nanocarbon. Definitely not going to hit my metal. Made no attempt on mechanical or electronic. Electronic's actually pretty easy to do if that's what you're focusing on. 10 seconds left! That wasn't worth re-upping. Oh well. Go, go, go! If this was a 2-day job, I would be able to pick up where I left off, but I made 6 million, and doing this for another day, I'm not going to make that kind of money. As you can see, the big ticket items were the reactor, the thrusters, I got 3 of them. The panel nanocarbon made about $500,000. The power generator made about $1/3 million. The nacelles and the keel, yeah, everything makes pretty good money there. As you can see, the coolant canisters made nothing. The reactor plates, some scrap, you know. But yeah, the bigger mackerel ships you can make some real money and make a lot of tech points too. So, you know, if I check my cert, I almost got done with my nanocarbon in 1 run. I didn't do aluminum there. Aluminum is going to be the inside of the ship, where your like seats are and stuff like that. So that I'm going to have to focus on. Let's repair. So little speedy thrusters would be good. Grapple. No, what do I want? Stinger range. Grapple range. Grapple force push. And let's start a new shift. Let's do a 1-day Debonair Neptune. Don't crash. Don't crash. Come on. I believe in you. So this time, instead of doing sort of completionist, I'm going to go after the really big ticket items, the thrusters, the nacelles, and the reactor, power generator ECU, and then work on, instead of nanocarbon, I'm going to work on aluminum so that I can get some of that certification credit. It's not money. The aluminum... Oh, so this isn't even pressurized. Awesome. Part of it might be, but that's going to make it a little easier. Definitely when you start, you want to make sure that you don't have any pressurized compartments or it's going to blow up. And if you want, you can hold on to the doors and check if there's pressure behind it. Like that. Whoa.
Air pressure level decreasing.
And yeah, if you're not careful enough, that air pressure can throw you into a wall and, like, you'll be hurt. All right. What else? The reactor room.
Air pressure level decreasing.
Okay, so now everything should be depressurized. Let me disable the ECU. I mean, if it wasn't so cost prohibitive, I would demonstrate what it looks like not disabling the ECU first. It's basically a giant icy explosion when you try to, remove your reactor, and it might actually destroy the reactor. Not good. Alright, now I'm cutting the... Sometimes your reactor won't be vertical like this, it'll be horizontal, and that gets a little bit trickier. Let's avoid cutting into the fuel lines. I think that's all of the cut points required for the back to peel off. So let's get outside. We could get outside easily going through the nacelles. Just like last time. think there's two more another pair of nacelles on the ship. Yeah, they're a little further up.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
All right, now I believe I cut enough to peel this off.
Salvage
Yep,
secured.
it's getting peeled.
Account credit applied.
Come on, giant piece of metal. Hull. It's too bad it's aluminum, not titanium, because obviously that's a titanium component that I don't need to deliver. All right, let's get this bad boy out of the way. All right, now the reactor has a clear path to be removed. I just need to
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
remove first the ECU, the coolant line, power down the thrusters, and then remove the thruster line and pull the reactor free. And the reactor was a 3 million ticket item, so that's like half of what I made last round was just the reactor alone. It is your meal ticket. So, thruster controls, reactor goes into meltdown mode.
Reactor meltdown sequence triggered. Urgent action required.
Remove the fuel lines that are in the way. And then give this a nice initial pull. Try to pull free of the casing. Now, if you don't have a straight down pull, what will end up happening is the sides of the containment might bump and you might have to cut it. Which is these metal sort of diamond shaped thing. Alright, so is this reactor going to require me to push it?
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Yes. The reactor's not actually in yet. The reactor walls are being annoying. So I just pulled it out of the casing, and there goes the reactor. Done.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Done and done. All right, let's go for the remaining nacelles, then the ECU unit, and the power generator, and then I'll work on aluminum because that's where my cert. That's what my cert requires. Hello, little fuse. Nope, I don't want to remove you. You will shock me. I actually don't even know what those fuses control. If you guys know, let me know in the
Salvage secured. Credits
in the
deposited.
comments. Okay, so the ECU. This ship is basically thrusters too. Durr. Yeah, thrusters are good money items.
Caution. Tether supplies are low.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
I'm also very low on oxygen. So let's go find some oxygen
Salvage
in the
deposit
ship.
accepted.
There
Credits
probably is
transferred.
a can or two. That's fuel. Well, I still need fuel anyway. Come on, oxygen.
Salvage secured. Credits
It'll be these
deposited.
pink indicators.
Oxygen reserves are low.
So there's oxygen. Hopefully it's oxygen reserves in this left compartment here. I saw it in the... Yep, there they are. I'll take
Oxygen
both.
levels stabilizing.
Alright, let's get back outside. What do I have left to do? The ECU? Alright, this time I'm going to stand back so the ECU doesn't... Actually, yeah, maybe I'll try to do it a little more carefully. Nope, still went kablamo. It's fine.
Valuable.
It didn't actually damage, I just get accredited for the aluminum that I break. Alright, come on, ECU. drag you a little bit more. This thing's heavy. Damn it, man. Just go. Go. There we go. Alright, ECU's done. I've got 6 minutes left. 2 tethers left. That's not a whole lot of tethers. I'm going to have to re-up on tethers, but let me cut the nose off so that I can get the power unit.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, that should start separating it out. Let's go to structural view. What did I miss? Now I'm also going to need to cut all of these panels at the bottom off so that I can start harvesting aluminum. So what's below me is nanocarbon and what's above me is aluminum, but I can't scrap the aluminum if the nanocarbon panels are in the way. You know, so it's chicken and the egg here, I guess, in a way. Alright, so this top panel should be free as far as I could tell. So we'll pull that off so that we can free the power jenny. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just basically cutting all of the cut points so that this ship disassembles around itself, just to make it a little bit easier to pull the bits off that I want to scrap. Alright, so I have one more tether after this. Let's tether that, and let's go re-up our tethers.
Depleted.
Don't pick up the fuses? Yeah, I learned that the hard way as well.
Alright,
It hurts
you got
a bit.
5 minutes left of this shift before they turn the lights out on you. Pitter patter. We wrap.
Alright, I don't really care about the coolant. I will take all this nanocarbon, though. That's probably enough for my accreditation. Alright, power generator. I didn't power it down, so it got pissed and damaged a little bit, but should be fine. Just don't go near it. Alright, there's the power jenny. Now,
Salvage secured.
let's
Credits deposited.
pull the panels that are going to block me from taking aluminum, and let's get them out of the way so that I can start doing my aluminum harvest. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if I cut... Oh, yeah, I guess I cut that too. Yeah, as you can see, like, this whole thing is peeling like an onion. An onion.
Caution. Tether
Valuable
supplies running
object
low.
processed. Credits deposited.
Alright, so what is... Wow, this is just a miserable mess of...
Warning. No tethers remaining.
Let's go get some more tethers. So all that right there that you're looking at, that's the aluminum that I need to cut.
Deposit not accepted.
Welcome to Vindatron 9000. Thank you for your purchase.
3 minutes left. How much aluminium can I get? I'm definitely going to get my nanocarbon, that's for sure.
Object accepted and processing. Credits deposited.
Nope. That's not what I meant to do. Alright. So now, this is the aluminum harvest. I'm hastily cutting not two super efficient squares, but it's mostly due to a lack of time, because it took me a while to get the ECU and the power generator and the reactor out, and the thrusters. Oh, that's not even cut free, is it? Oh my god. Why? just you're fine. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. How are you not disconnected yet? What are you, just okay. It's magic. It's held on by magic. Get over here. No, over. No. Over here.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
Oh, it has a seat on it. I'll be docked for the destruction of the seat, but whatever. It's just a seat. Oh, come on, panel.
Left, Cutter. Time to start wrapping
Get in
things
there.
up. Weaver out.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
Yeah. Here we go. And that's sort of how do you get the aluminum harvest going. You just need to cut a hole. No, you troublemaker. You need to cut a significant hole in your ship so that you can get access to it. Because it's only the inside segments that are aluminum, not the outside. The outside is all nanocarbon and titanium. No, 9 seconds left. I'm not gonna be able to do this panel. I made some progress. We'll see about the progress. Okay, so 6.5 mil. Obviously, most of that's from the reactor, the thrusters, some nanocarbon, etc. The nacelles actually aren't that much money, but if I complete my shift, we'll see a ton of tech points because I got a whole lot done. And then my cert, as you can see, I only got a small fraction of my aluminum done. That's really going to be my bottleneck. So my next ship, probably what I'll end up doing is just getting the reactor and then focusing entirely on aluminium because that's really what I'm bottlenecked on. Yeah, I might need to do a multi-day salvage. In fact, this was a multi-day salvage. Perfect. So here's obviously the ship that I had ripped apart. Now, I'm not going to make a lot of money off this salvage because obviously all the expensive bits are already pulled off. And what's left is just the ship-grade aluminum and some nanocarbon. But if you did a multi-day salvage like this, and you really need your aluminum, this is how I would go about getting it. Now, it's an inefficient way of making money, but it is a pretty decent way of getting your accreditations. And right now, my accreditations are just
Processing valuable
get
objects.
aluminum, so...
Credits awarded.
And I have a... Well, that looks like a nice, big piece. Oh, there's some stupid seats on it, though. Now, I could, yes, I could, if I cut the ship up enough, I could basically shove the entire ship into the furnace. I would be heavily docked for the fact that I wasted a ton. But that would be a good way to get my aluminum too. I could try that. I haven't actually done that approach. But even the even your nanocarbon panels have some aluminum in them. So you'd be docked for pay, but you may get a bunch of aluminum out of it. So let's try that route. We'll just have to be looking at our HUD to see how much aluminum we are actually awarded for doing it this method. Because obviously it is a massive, massive waste of nanocarbon. Alright, clearly these aren't freed. Oh no, it is. It's just super heavy.
Valuable component destroyed.
That was all titanium. And scrap. You're not really paid for scrap at all. So, it's mostly just the internals of the ship that are going to be,
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
they're going to be profitable.
Tether supplies are low.
So that in mind, let's just keep cutting. If I had more time, yeah, it might be. Well, let's try it. Let's try it that way. Let's try to pull off all the nanocarbon off of it and see if we can't trim the remainder of the ship, sending all of its parts into the furnace. Good morning, Tipsy. Also, if the stream all of a sudden cuts out, I've got huge thunderstorms rolling overhead.
Welcome to Vintage Run 9.
IRL.
Thank you for your purchase. Have a nice day.
Alright, so let's peel this onion. Oh, this again. I hate the flight deck.
Processing valuable objects. Credits awarded.
We're not attached. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. There we go. Yeah, okay. It's all unattached. Good.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
What does that hold? Oh, that's holding onto the airlock. Murder. Goodbye, crawl space. That's definitely separated. No doubt about that.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
What about the other side? I'm gonna have another crawl space issue, aren't I? Yep. Well, I'm really, really good at cutting those crawl spaces recklessly. And that's one of the advantages of having a upgraded tool, is you can just super cut reckless with reckless abandon. All right, so this is titanium that goes there.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
All right, let's try to just trim this ship into
Valuable object.
manageable sections. I actually haven't salvaged anything like this before,
Object not accepted.
and I'm sure my cutter tool is hating me. Oh!
Electrical damage.
Hit some electrical. You've been watching the Hardspace Shipbreaker miniseries Part 3, which originally aired live on Twitch June 28th. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, just go to Rhadamant.com for the schedule. If you got any questions for me, drop me a comment below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you all next episode. Adios.